Good. Thanks, Brandon, for the introduction. So I'm here today. I plan to give you a bit of an update or encourage you to apply to the ALUS program. First of all, has anybody heard of the ALUS program? Is this news to you? Show of hands with anybody that knows what ALUS is. Excellent. Okay, so that's why I'm here today. I've usually been on the roster for the Ecological Day and Beef Day to kind of share the story. The ALUS program stands for the Alternative Land Use Services. It's a program to support farmers to enhance or develop natural conservation areas on the farm. So I'll give you an update, an introduction to those who haven't heard. So what is the ALUS program? It's active in 6 provinces to date, Grey Bruce being one of 8 Ontario communities. We were one of the starting programs with a pilot project in 2012 and started with 3 other communities, so it is growing in Ontario as well as across Canada. It's a not-for-profit charitable organization, so from PEI to Alberta. So conservation practices to date have been 3 types of approaches. There's been the regulatory, where it's somebody telling you that this is what you must do for your land. There's also the education aspect, where producers are taught to show the best management practices and hope that the person then can go on and do those best management practices on their own. Where ALUS is kind of a bit of a dangle a carrot, provide a bit of a financial incentive, and hope that people will take part. So what is the ALUS program? What are some types of projects that we accomplish? So wetlands, plant windbreaks, install riparian buffers, create pollinator habitat, establish other ecologically beneficial projects. There's no real cookie-cutter approach as far as what types of projects we're doing, so we're open to different opportunities as well. But we do provide an annual payment, so we help with the establishment cost and provide an annual payment for the acreage that is taken out of production. So what makes ALUS unique? ALUS is unique because of it's community developed and farmer delivered. One of the best things about the ALUS program is that the community kind of shapes how the program operates. So for it to be successful in different communities, ALUS Norfolk is one of the first Ontario communities. So when we look at ALUS Norfolk and ALUS Grey Bruce, the landscape is quite different with the sand type soil in Norfolk County. So each community has different environmental needs. So this way we are able to accomplish that. 18,000 acres and counting. So we have a bit of a ripple effect of how the projects on the landscape are doing locally and abroad are doing positive benefits to the landscape. If anybody was here for Beef Day, they heard fresh air farmer Andrew Campbell. He's always expressing, and we're hearing a lot about the agriculture story. We've got a lot of issues that are dealing with crop farmers right now, neonic being one, algae blooms are another. When we do ALUS projects, when you look at neonicotinoids, if we can retire some acreages and provide pollinator habitat on farm, working alongside modern agriculture production, that's kind of a positive story where we can definitely have that conversation. Instead of defending ourselves, let's be a positive approach and do some of these programs to help. So ecosystem services is what these projects are providing. There's a list of 10 of them. None of these should be new to you. They're all very common right now when we're talking about carbon sequestration. As farmers, we produce or have the ability to produce these services. So Grey and Bruce County from 2013 to 2017, these are where projects have been implemented. So we are dotting the landscape for sure. We have provided 500 acres to date on 52 project sites. A lot of that is to do with our how we are a lot of our, we have great partnerships here in Grey and Bruce County. That is a lot to do with the broad spectrum of where our projects have been placed. So the best ideas emerge when very different perspectives meet, and what I mean by that is we are governed by our Partnership Advisory Council, which is our PAC, and that is another unique feature to ALUS. It is made up of local technical support, so we have support from our conservation authorities, our Ministry of Natural Resources, OMAFRA. But the best thing about it is we still have 50% farmers or producers are on the PAC. So those are the governing bodies that run it locally. Those are how we approve our projects. So it's a great source to work with the technical support. We've often heard farmers are your own natural environmentalists. You know the unproductive areas on your farm. This picture is obviously the person in the suit has no idea what he's looking for on the map there. But we know there are areas that are unproductive. So this picture is showing this is a pretty common scene this last year. So areas like this is something that would be considered as marginal type farmland. Next year you may be able to plant through that, but maybe not even be able to get the crop off. So there's really no sense in spending the extra dollars, the cost of seed, cost of fertilizer, it's all an expense. So this way of thinking, to take that area right out of production, you would then be receiving an annual payment for those areas that are unproductive. This picture here, this is to show you GPS doesn't always work. GPS could stand for generally plant straight, but what we are finding is that farmers do like straight lines. So if we can harness the technology to have square fields and retire nooks and triangular pieces and have these features on site, that would be where we are looking to enhance the areas. A common project in Grey and Bruce is tree planting. This is a picture showing that we're tree planting right alongside modern agriculture, hand in hand. We don't want to be a program that's being seen as taking good land out of production. So there is a rule of 20%. So on a 100-acre parcel, we would only pay you on a 20 acres total. So that is put in place for the fact that we don't want to be in competition with agriculture land. This is pretty common too, shaded areas next to tree lines or heavy fence lines or next to a bush. They could be enhanced either by extending a buffer of grass. The grasslands are something that has been missed in conservation types where we've seen a lot of wetland projects. We've seen a lot of tree plantings, but grasslands is one of the ones that has been missed. So we can produce that, but provide pollinator habitat for birds, pollinators. They're all very useful. Obviously, vegetative buffer strips. This is no news to most of the people here in the room. The speaker this morning talking about the rivers running like chocolate milk. That's something that looks poor on us as farmers. If we can kind of extend those areas, again, algae blooms. This is something that is hot topic, and we are, whether we are the main cause of it, but definitely are contributing to it. Extending those buffers, at least through the ALUS program, you're getting an incentive to create those extra buffers. This is a picture of, this is at home actually. We kind of look at the next generation, how the landscape is going to work or going to look. In the last few years, it's changed dramatically with fence lines being taken out. The small fields are being opened up definitely. the common saying, tell me I forget, teach me I may remember, involve me and I learn. This is something that ALUS participants definitely take pride in. People get excited about their projects. They, even if they enroll 1 acre, the another 99 acres that they do have are treated differently, even without being involved. So like I mentioned before, field sizes have changed in the last, as progression of agriculture has changed. Sometimes we don't know how valuable fence lines, tree lines are until they're gone. We do, when they're removed, I'm a culprit as well. We have removed fence lines at home as well. And we totally understand why that happens. But we know they do open themselves up for wind erosion and even the water filtration, like we were talking this morning. It all helps. So when we talk about projects that for benefits all of society, today was a good drive here to Elmwood, but probably day 2 and day 3 or 4 coming to Elmwood were where the wind was blowing and we had drifting. Windbreaks are an area that we can slow the wind down. This is a picture showing, this is in front of our own place actually. The corn was left out here, not on purpose, but it was in 2014. So this is showing the different size in the arrows show the height of the snowbanks. This side had to be blown back by the municipality twice, whereas the corn actually held that, and we didn't have any snow coming across the road at all. So it's actually a public safety concern, and actually would even probably save taxpayers' dollars if we really look at how these projects can help out. Not only do we have the issue of snow, there's the issue of vulnerable soil once it's opened up, and the wind erosion. So losing soil is probably, nobody wants that to happen, but it is happening. And hopefully these projects can hopefully help with a little bit of that. Some of the tree lines that we have in Grey and Bruce counties are 100-year-old maples that have a drip line of 100 feet. So when establishing a new fence row or windbreak, when the widest part of the tree is at the bottom, you don't have the overlap or the poor crop growing right next to the trees. So they can be beneficial, and OMAFR states that there is a bit of a yield bump too. Those are all statistics that have been proven. So something to consider as well. Something that we've been excited about we've had 2 or 3 different projects this year using yield mapping, where the areas show red are areas that are in poor productive state. So we have had a couple of projects where the red areas have been totally retired and planted to trees. It doesn't have to be tree plantings. Tree planting is definitely a long-term project, but grasslands, native or tame grasses in those red areas help for water infiltration. Again, bird habitat, pollinators, all of those. All of these are a suite for many different benefits. So I think most of these people have seen this slide before. Livestock has a high carbon footprint, says the guy who lives here, and you can't even see the cars for smog. ALUS is a little bit of a unique feature as well, because now the person that's doing the complaining can actually, because we're a charitable organization, can actually contribute financially through the ALUS program. So they can actually have a bang for their buck as far as carbon tax. Nobody really wins in those situations. So individuals have the opportunity to donate. So when we think of our farm now, we just think of what we produce: pounds of beef, bushels of soybeans, bushels of corn. But the fact of the matter is that we do have the opportunity to market clean water, clean air, and all of these other hosts of beneficial projects that can benefit all of society. So with that, that's the end of my presentation.
What do you propose to do with the soil loss from urban sprawl, creep and crawl as the provincial policy guidelines at the present, and the unnecessary production of sod, which takes away the topsoil also? On that aspect, any construction sites, they should save the soil and use the soil, reseed it, rather than have sod farms. What are you going to do about that? Thank you.
Well, I'm not sure that there's a whole lot I can do about that. I stand here in front of you as a producer myself, knowing that there's areas that you and I both can work on our own landscape, yeah, there's other stuff going on that is out of everyone's control, and the urban sprawl is definitely one of them. But these projects are meant to enhance and tell the positive story of what we are doing as farmers. So.
Hi, thanks for your presentation. Canola is a good crop for this region, often the fourth crop in rotation, but sometimes hard to turn a big profit. But it's an incredible resource for pollinators. So just wondered if the only opportunities are taking land out of production, or if there are other types of ways we can incorporate canola or crops like that as a pollinator resource. Yeah,
for sure. That's a good point. The ALUS model is kind of based on taking more of a long-term approach. We've been asked lots of times on, will ALUS fund cover crops? But because of it being such a short-term project, we don't do stuff like that. But I've read studies before that even having a pollinator stretch next to a canola field, some of those beneficial insects are present there that would help when issues of sweet midge and all of that. I'm not sure that we would fund, supporting the growth of the canola, but definitely there's all kinds of crops that are pollinator friendly for sure. Any other questions? Good. Thank you.